is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive. Once again, I'm your host, Preston Moore. I mentioned earlier in the show we would talk about some summer camps going on around the area for some of our local athletes, local kids trying to get into different sports and whatnot. And one of those camps has kids from all around the place. Joining me to talk about that now is Randall High tennis head coach Darby Norman. Coach Norman, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I understand that you're drying off a little bit from a water balloon fight out at camp. Is that what's right?
That's right. We always end the last day of camp with an epic water gun fight. And maybe the highlight for most of them, especially when it's 100 degrees outside. But we're kind of wet and drenched, but we sure had fun.
I bet on a day like this especially. It is hot out there. Coach Norman, I want to talk to you a little bit about the camp, but before we do that, I want to talk about your season because you're coming off of a spectacular spring season just recently. So what do you think when it comes to entering the off season? Obviously, I mentioned your camp has kids from all around the place, not just within Randall, but also you do have some of your players out there. So how does this time of the year benefit them in the off season?
Well, that's a great question. You know, our kids have bought in many years ago to the fact that they have to work hard over the summer, and if we're going to be successful when we start that fall season back in August, that they can't sit on the couch all summer and play video games. You know, they've got to get out there and hit that tennis ball around, and our kids have always bought into that, and that leads to a bunch of our success. Just like today, Gabby DeShong and Kinley Craddock, 4A girls state doubles champs, are out there on the courts at the camp today, you know, getting better and better, and they're the state champs. And Bryson Shelton, who's graduating for us, he was out there helping us with camp, and his partner Dax Betson, he was out there at our camp too. So I just love the mentality of our kids that, you know, even if you go win a state championship or get the silver medal, you know, your work's not done. They know that they got to continue to work in the summer.
As a coach, I would imagine that is extremely encouraging from your standpoint to see your state champion doubles team out there in the sweltering heat that it is today, still putting in work over the summer during the summer camp.
It is. It's amazing. It kind of leads the rest of the kids too, you know. If your lead dogs are out there working in the summer, I mean, we've been out of school a couple weeks at the most, and they're out there working, you know, getting ready for next fall, and the younger kids see that and their work ethic, and they want to be a part of that, and they know that we're going to be successful. That's what it takes. So yeah, as a coach, it is great. You know, we've built that mentality here at Randall to be successful and maintain our high standards. That's what you have to do. So it's kind of just an accepted thing now. You know, we don't even have to encourage the kids or make the kids get out there and do it, which is exactly, it's definitely a blessing for us.
Absolutely. I think I can imagine. And would you say that mentality, how big of an impact do you think a mentality like that has on the season when it does roll around, and how much do you think that plays into the success that you've seen, especially over the last couple of years?
Well, you know, our kids several years ago bought into the fact that they had to work over the summer, whether that's coming to camps or playing in those PATS summer tournaments that we host. And they've done it. You know, our kids make up the majority of the kids playing in those summer tournaments. So, you know, we get started. I think we have tryouts the end of July, and our first tennis match is August 1st. So, you know, it's coming sooner than later. We can't wait till school starts to get started if we want to maintain that success. But the good news is we have a lot of kids out there at camp, and some of these kids are, you know, a lot of these kids are our kids or in our feeder pattern, but we have kids from a bunch of other schools too, you know, who want to come be a part and learn from that and see what it's all about. And hopefully they take that success back to their programs and their schools, and develop the same love for tennis that our kids have.
Yeah, you know, I was out there at your camp just yesterday talking to you a little bit about all of the different kids from different places that you have coming in, and that's not something that every camp does. That's a unique thing, I think, to have kids from all over the place coming out to your camp. How do you feel like it benefits some of the kids on your team, on the Randall team, when they get to play with and learn from and get to know on a personal level maybe some of the kids that they'll be playing against during the season?
That's a great question. You know, during the school year, it's just so competitive, and so Amarillo High, West Plains, Canyon, you know, they sometimes they can't even have fun with it. It's so competitive. And in the summer, you know, that kind of goes away a little bit. Some of our kids are playing with kids from other schools in the tournaments. And at camp, they're out there having a good time with those kids. And it's fun to see that, the kids can put all that rivalry stuff aside for a few minutes and just love the game of tennis and enjoy playing it with other kids who love playing it. So, we love it when kids we've never been exclusive Randall kids only. It's always been open to whomever wants to come learn and whoever wants to come have fun. And, out there today, it was just really cool to see all those kids out there having fun playing tennis and just, whether it's Randall kids or West Plain kids, Emerald High kids, Tascosa, Canyon, it's just fun to see kids loving tennis and having fun playing tennis.
Absolutely. When you're talking about some of the kids that you have coming out to camp, you have we talked yesterday, and you mentioned to me that you've got kids coming from pretty far away as Groover in some cases. Tell me about where you have some of the young athletes coming in from to
yeah. We have. Well, I think this year we had a girl from Waco that one of her cousins plays tennis and heard this was a great camp, and she came and was talking about how much fun she had. We've had kids from Groom, Fort Elliott, Groover, Claude, Panhandle, Canyon. We have kids from all over, and they all had a blast. They all had a blast getting out there, loving what we do.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Norman, about to have to let you go. We're almost out of time, but before we do, you mentioned next season coming up quicker than expected. I think it just kind of sneaks up on you, especially with tennis. Mentioning that first tournament or that first, the season beginning at the very beginning of August. What does this time of year look like for you outside of camp? Obviously, right now you're focusing on camp. That's the main priority. But you mentioned you got tryouts late July, and then the season's coming up. So what, from your perspective as the head coach, what sort of things do you need to do to prepare over the course of the next couple weeks and next 2 months to prepare for this?
Well, tennis in the UIL is a year-round sport. So our kids, they play year-round. We just finished our spring season and had the state tournament the next to the last week in school. The UIL bumped it back and had a great success. A girls doubles team winning state, a boys doubles team getting silver. It doesn't get better than that. But our kids aren't quitting. They have goals already set for our fall team tennis season. We've been to state the last 2 years. We won 2 years ago. Last year we made it back kind of unexpectedly and got third. And they're already setting their goals for next year. They want to go back for a third year in a row. And we know we're going to have competition. Our district's the toughest in the state by far. Canyon, West Plains, Pampa, Hereford's going to be good again next year. They're just awesome talent in our district. And our kids know that if they're going to make that dream become a reality and for us to go back to state a third time, it starts now. And as coaches, we love the fact that we don't really have to motivate them to do that. They have that self-motivation and they're eager to get started this summer and start off the school year right, August 1st when we play our first match.
Absolutely, and it's coming up quicker than any of us think. Fall sports always sneak up. I feel like I blink.
They do. You're right.
It's all going on already. So, Coach Norman, thanks again for coming on the show, talking a little bit about your camp. Glad it went well, and hope that you can dry off a little bit and get out of the heat.
That's right. We need to dry off, but thanks for having us, and we just appreciate all the kids coming and just love the fact that kids are loving to play tennis. It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to more tennis coverage throughout the summer. Coach Norman, once again, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Preston. Have a good day.
Absolutely. We will be right back to talk more Sports Drive right after this break. Stay tuned.